Hey guys, how's it going? This is Seth, REtipster.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can build an amazing land website with Pebble. So Pebble is actually formerly known as REI Conversion, and I actually was fortunate enough to communicate and work a lot with Jesse when he first started REI Conversion and put together his first website templates for buying and selling vacant land. What's fortunate about that is that I was able to give him a lot of the things that I was doing on my website, the things that I found were working really well, like the submission form and just the design and what to say. And he did an amazing job of taking that information and implementing it very well, better than I was even implementing it. And over the years, as the company has evolved, he's made other updates and made it even better than that. So as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, this company is pretty much the authority when it comes to making just amazing looking, high quality websites that convert specifically for land flippers. So REI Conversion has evolved a lot over the years. Now they've rebranded to Pebble, and Pebble is no longer just a website making company. It's actually a very comprehensive lead tracking system, almost like a CRM system that can do a ton of stuff. Send out your direct mail campaigns, track all your leads, organize your due diligence. And the reason this is so important is because it fits like a glove with your website. So when people come to your website and submit their information, it goes right into the Pebble tracking system. So it automates a lot of this stuff for you, which is amazing. I'm not going to get into all of that stuff in this video, but what I'm going to focus on in this particular overview is how to put together your website if you're going to use something like Pebble. And something I'll say, with all the changes that have happened to Pebble over the years, now websites are basically like an add-on to everything else they do. So to even use their websites at all, you have to be a Pebble subscriber, which means there's a monthly fee and you get access to a whole lot of stuff beyond your websites. The reason I mention this is because Pebble is kind of like the BMW version of getting a land website up and running. There are definitely cheaper ways to get this done, but those ways involve a lot more hassle, especially if you don't know how to build websites. I mean, you can absolutely do it for less money. It's just going to take a lot more headache to get to the end product. And the end product probably won't look as good as what Pebble can do anyway. So depending on who you are, Pebble may or may not make sense for you, but if you're somebody who does have the budget for it, this is pretty much the best, fastest, and easiest way that I know of to get an amazing website up and running. Because one of the big changes that they've made over the years is that they do like 90% of the work for you now. Like they literally build the whole thing, they put it all in there. All you have to do is provide like your logo, your basic company information, and then get into the website once it's already created and change some of the specific stuff to your company, like FAQ information and all that. But otherwise, everything is pretty much made for you. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of time, messing around with that stuff. And they handle all the hosting, and it covers all the plugins. So like nothing's going to break on you. It's monitored 24/7. Your website's not going to get hacked. None of that stuff. So if you really want like the best land buying and selling website that money can buy, that's what Pebble is. And that's what we're about to dive into. So if you want to work with Pebble, all you got to do is go here to the homepage. By the way, REtipster does have an affiliate link for Pebble. If you want to help support REtipster and get the best website you can possibly get, click on that link. I'm going to have it beneath this video. And once you land on the page, you can go up here to pricing. And there's a few different pricing options you can choose from here. So solo is if you're just like one person, you don't have a team yet, you're just getting started, it's just you, then that probably makes the most sense. Team, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. If it's you plus a few other people, whether it be VAs or a business partner or something like that, it just lets more than one person get into it. And as you can see, the price isn't that much different between the two. So you sort of have to self-select which one you are. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go with solo. Go ahead and click on this. And remember, what we're doing here is we are signing up for a Pebble subscription so we get access to the whole direct mail, lead tracking system, all that stuff. So this is way more than just building a website. And in addition to signing up for Pebble, we can also select these add-ons. And these add-ons are the two types of websites. Land leads, that's basically a selling website or a website that's created for the purpose of collecting leads from motivated sellers who want to sell their property. They can visit your website, fill out all the information, and you can collect it that way, basically just saving you a whole lot of time. You can send out automated offers this way. I've done it this way for years. It's awesome. And land list, this is a selling website. So once you have the properties in your inventory and you're trying to sell them, this is kind of like the online showroom where you can list those things for sale with with pictures and description, beautiful property listings, and sell them through that type of website. And I find both to serve a pretty important purpose. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to sign up for both. And also notice here, you can pay for this monthly or annually. If you do pay for it annually, the price goes down by $10 a month per website. So just keep that in mind. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and do monthly for this one. Also keep in mind, this is going to start with a free 14-day trial. So if you start this whole process and you decide like, this isn't helpful, I hate this isn't working, anything like that, you're not locked in until after that 14 days. You don't necessarily need to hesitate on whether or not this is going to work for you, because you can find out yourself before you have to pay for anything. And you don't have to do all the work of setting it up yourself. So once that's all filled in, we're going to fill out our information here and go ahead and click purchase. Alrighty, now we got a nice little video to watch here. Let's check this out.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Jesse here, co-founder of Pebble, and I wanted to say thank you for trusting your land business with us. It means the world to us. Now that you signed up for Pebble, there are two things you need to do next. First of all, we need to actually get your site set up. And in order to do that, we actually need to learn a little bit more about your land business. So what you're going to do is hit the button below this video, and you'll be brought to a form where you can fill out information about your business, and we can actually start setting up your website. After that, in about 1 to 2 business days, my team will reach out to you on what to do next, and that's specifically pointing your domain. That's the web address for your website. Not to worry, you're in good hands, even if you're not tech savvy. All right, so number 2, after you filled out a form, you'll be redirected right into Pebble. That's our land management system, and it's going to walk you through on setting up your account. Not only that, it's also going to walk you through on setting up your first mailing campaign. You're going to see how easy it is to set up your mailing campaigns and bring in your data into Pebble. All right, one more thing I do want to mention is to make sure you check your email, because I'm going to send you what we call our success guide. It's going to walk you through on things like customizing your website to learning the workflow of Pebble. All right, so 2 things you need to do is hit the button below this video, complete the site setup form, let my team reach out to you, and then start setting up Pebble right after that.
So just a few key things he touched on there. First of all, the domain. So if you don't already have a domain name, you can actually get a pretty good deal on at NameCheap, and REtipster does have an affiliate link with NameCheap. If you want to check it out, it's just retipster.com/NameCheap. I've got probably like 30 different domain names that I just store in NameCheap, including REtipster. Pretty much every domain that I own is all right here. It's just a really nice place to keep all those things. It's got a really easy to use interface, and I can actually show you more about how this works later on in this video. So if you don't already have a domain, you can check out NameCheap. You just have to go up here to domains and go to domain name search and start searching for whatever domain you want to see if it's available. Or if you already do have a domain name somewhere, whether it's with GoDaddy or HostGator or Bluehost or wherever, you could just get in there and redirect where that is pointing to when you get to that step in the process. So just quick note on domain names. And then also the success guide that Jesse mentioned just a second ago. That's also going to be an important part of getting your website like completed and tweaked and tuned up just the way you want it before you start showing it to the world. And the other thing he mentioned is to fill out the information form, which we're going to do right now. So let's go ahead and do that. So we basically just need to provide some basic details about our company so that they can get started on building this thing. So let's go ahead and fill this out. So there's our owner details. Now website details. Let's fill in this stuff quick. So which theme and skin would you like for this site's setup? So at this point in the process, we want to specify that what we're trying to build here is a selling website. This is kind of where you decide which path you want to go down. If you want to do a selling website, these are the 4 skins you currently have to choose from at the time of this recording anyway. So if we want to see what each one of these options looks like, we can go over here to the Pebble homepage and then hover over features, going on to websites, and we can see demos of each one down here. And the 4 that we have to choose from can be seen on this second row right here. So let's check out Landlist Classic. So this was the first theme REI Conversion back in the day I ever started with, was this one, which works really well. There's a nice opt-in form right here at the top where people can specify what they're searching for. They can go down here, click on any one of these listings. There's an interactive map that shows where all of the property listings are, which is awesome. And it's just put together really well. And if you want to go and check out the properties, so this is like what the property listing page looks like. You can also sort them based on location or size of the property or the price or the status. And once you click on any one of these things, you can see what these listings look like. This right here is actually a really cool option. You don't have to use this, but if you want to build a buyer's list, it's a really good way to like lock down the property information until a person opts in. And then you can build that buyer's list and start sending announcements emails to them once you have new properties coming on the market. It's a really good way to sell your properties a lot faster, or you can just allow them to close it too if you want. And once they do actually see the listing, they can see these images right here. They can scroll through, they can click on them to see larger versions of them. They can see your information right here. They can see all the relevant property details. You can add information about the local area down here as well, and you get the idea. And also, once a property does sell, or if it's coming soon, or if it's under contract, you can select the appropriate settings in the back end of WordPress, which I'll show you in just a minute. So that's the classic skin. The other ones pretty much do the same thing. They just look a little bit different. We can see this content locker here. We can close that. Again, you don't have to enable that if you don't want to, but you can if you want to build your buyer's list. Scroll down here, see a lot of the same stuff, but it just looks a little bit different. And this is nice because you don't have to look like every other Pebble user out there because you're not all using the exact same skins. You can also change up these images in the background. Then up here, you can change up the color scheme, obviously what this text says, which we'll get into more in a little bit. The other skin is this one, Evergreen. Let's check this one out. This looks pretty cool. I haven't even seen this one yet. So that looks really nice. As you can see, a lot of the same stuff. It's just laid out a little bit differently with a more unique look to it. And then Landlist Umbra. What is this one all about? Cool. Looks pretty sharp. Again, lots of the same stuff, just a different design to it. So I think I'm going to go with this Evergreen skin just because I like how this looks. I think that's really sharp. So I'm going to select that. Now, when it comes to the domain, so I actually have not selected a domain name for this yet. If you already have a domain name, whether that's with NameCheap or GoDaddy or Bluehost or HostGator or whatever, you would just have to put that domain in here. And then once your site is ready, you can go back to wherever that domain name is held and update the DNS to point to the right numbers or codes or whatever they give you. However, I don't have a domain name yet, and you may not have one yet either. So if that's you and you don't have a domain name picked out, the one place that I would probably point you to is NameCheap. And once you're here, all you got to do is start searching for whatever domain name you want. And in most cases, .com is what you want because it's the most popular and it's just what people think about when they think about a website. However, because of that, most of the best .com domain names are already taken. So it's not a deal breaker, but depending on what your business name is or what domain name you want to select, it may or may not be available or affordable. So let's go ahead and just pick a random business name here and just see if it's available. Let's go with Grand Land and just see if .com is available, and it is not. No surprise. So I'm going to try something a little bit different, maybe grandland.co. See if that's available. It is available, but it's over $2,500, and there's no way I'm going to pay that much for a brand new domain name that nobody knows about. So one nice thing about NameCheap is that even if the one you're looking for isn't available, which is actually often the case, they'll suggest a lot of other options that you might consider. Another thing we can do is go up here to explore more. And we can go over here and click on real estate, and it will show us all the extensions that are kind of correlated to real estate. So we could do grandland.estate or grandland.country, grandland.holdings, maybe grandland.forsale. So not the most intuitive one, but just for the purpose of moving along in this tutorial here, I'm going to select that one. Now, when you go through the process of purchasing a domain name like this, they're going to try to offer you all these add-ons and stuff. Sometimes they're relevant, sometimes not, depending on how you're planning to build your website. But one nice thing about using Pebble is that they handle all this stuff for you, all the hosting, all the SSL stuff, all that. So you don't really need to pay for any of these extras. Just get your domain name and move on to the next step. Go ahead and click on checkout. I'm going to go ahead and set this to auto renew, and domain privacy is on by default because it's free. I'm not sure why you wouldn't pick that. And we'll go ahead and confirm the order. All right, so now we've got our domain name purchase. We're going to go ahead and click on manage here. The main thing that we're going to want to do, not yet, but once our website has been created by Pebble, they're going to give us some new information to put in here, or we're going to have to click on this and go to Custom DNS. But again, we're not quite there yet. The main thing we wanted to accomplish at this point was just getting the domain name, which we now have. So let's go ahead and copy this thing right here and then go back over to this form and put the domain name right there. And then the About Us photo. So just grab a picture of yourself. I've got a few I can choose from. So I'm going to grab that and put it here. Okay. And then business phone number, business email, Facebook page, Instagram. If you want to advertise that stuff on your site, you can put that right here and they will add that stuff to the final product when they deliver it to you. Also, if you do have a logo, you can upload that here. If you don't have a logo, then your business name will just be displayed in some text, which actually looks pretty good. So it's not the end of the world if you don't have a logo yet. If you're still looking for a logo, there's a couple different places that I recommend people go to do that. Canva is the free one, and then 99 Designs is the paid one. They're both great services depending on your budget and what you're trying to do. So check those out as well. We have affiliate links to both, and we'll have both those links beneath this video. And then owner name, business profile description. So I'm going to go ahead and add all this stuff here. So once we've got that added, we can click next. And in the next step, it's asking us if we need to connect our REI Pebble buyer seller inbox to your sites. Like I mentioned, Pebble is actually a much larger system than just websites. It's like a full lead tracking system. And if you're using Pebble for that, to send out your direct mail and track your leads and all that stuff, then I would say yes, absolutely. It's kind of a no-brainer. If you're not to that point yet, then you could click no. So it's kind of up to you, however you want to proceed with that. And then finally, we got to sign these agreements and click submit. So you can go ahead and read this stuff if you want to. I'm just going to check it and get this thing submitted and keep the process moving. And it says that it takes 2 to 3 business days to set up a site. So that's about how long we'll have to wait after we click submit. So let's go ahead and click this button. And now we play the waiting game. So I'm going to go ahead and push pause on this, and we will pick this back up once I get the email notification from Pebble telling me that my site is ready to go. Okay, so I ended up getting this email the same day. It didn't even take 24 hours. And this email is telling me that I need to get into my NameCheap account to update the following name servers. So let's go back over here to NameCheap, where I just bought this domain. Go ahead and find that domain right here at the top of the list. Click on Manage. And then once we're in here, we're going to want to go down here to where it says Name Servers. Click this drop down and then click Custom DNS. And right here where it says Name Server 1 and Name Server 2, that's where we're going to copy and paste these things right here. So go ahead and copy this and then go back here, paste it in here, just like that. And then copy this one and then paste it right here, just like that. Then we're going to click this check mark to save it. And usually it doesn't take terribly long. It can take up to 24 hours, but I've rarely seen it take that much time. But eventually this should be pointing towards the correct name servers, and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, so we're back. Now, 1 business day has passed, and I got this email explaining what has happened. So the server and domain has been set up, the theme has been installed, information I provided has all been imported into the site, and the property content lock has been connected to my Pebble buyer's inbox, which we'll talk about more in just a second. So what we have to do is log back into our Pebble account, log in here. And once we've logged in, we're going to see our dashboard right here. This is a pretty new account that I just created not long ago, so there's not a whole lot of information to show. And this kind of gets into the bigger ecosystem of Pebble because it does a whole lot more than just websites. But we just want to go and see the new selling website that we're putting together here. You can go over here and click on websites, and we'll see all the websites that we have in our Pebble account. So I've already set up one for my buying site. That's what summitproperties.land is. That's actually a separate video. If you want to check that out, feel free. But the one that we're working on here is this one right here, grandland.forsale. So let's click on this, the WordPress admin. So these websites are put together with WordPress. And I actually don't even know what my password is yet because I haven't signed in here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on lost password, and I'll put in my email address and reset it so I can get in. Now let's go back here to log in. And by default, Pebble is going to assign this email address to you, and any email sent to this email address just gets forwarded to your main address. Or you could go and update this and change it to whatever email address you want it to be if you already do have a branded email address. Just for the sake of this overview, I'm going to say that it's fine. Let's go ahead and proceed. And this right here is our WordPress dashboard. So if we want to just go and see our site exactly as it is right now, we can just go up here and click on Visit Site. And we're going to see exactly what Pebble set up for us. Now this thing right here, this is the property content lock plugin. We don't necessarily need to use this, but a lot of people like to just because it helps to collect email addresses on autopilot and build your cache buyers list, which is always very useful. And there's different ways to implement this. You could have it show up just the way it did right here, where it just kind of like blocks everything and you can't see the website at all until you either fill it out or close it. You could also make it so that a person can't even close it. So like they literally need to fill this out in order to see the information, or you could have it not show up at all. And on the home page, you can see there's also this opt-in form, which is a little bit less intrusive to the user experience because it's just there and a person can sign up if they want to. A person can also sort all your properties based on the location or the size of the property or the price or the status. And these 3 featured ones will show up here, or if a person scrolls down further, they can see all of your properties pinpointed on the map. This feature alone is actually like really cool. This is the kind of thing that you can definitely implement this if you have like your own self-hosted WordPress site. It's just a little bit harder, and Pebble just like takes care of it for you. You can also scroll down a little bit further and see some of this boilerplate stuff. This is the picture that I provided. You can get in and edit all this text and change it up to say whatever you want it to say. This right here may or may not need to change. This will need to change because that's not even English right there. You can add a little image of your signature if you want to make it look a little bit personalized. And then there's this other stuff down here. We've got our phone number, email address. We can add our social links down at the bottom. It's just a really nice looking site that's just done for you. Whereas if you were trying to do this on your own, it would be way more work. And if you're anything like me, you would probably screw things up and not even be able to finish the thing without reaching out to somebody else for help to wrap it up. So if we go over here to the About page, so this is, what a typical About page would be. It's not crazy or fancy, but you could put whatever you want here, and you can change this picture if you want. We've got this FAQ page, which you'll definitely want to get in here and change this stuff. Maybe add other questions that you find relevant or questions that you get asked a lot. And over here on the blog, this can be a nice way to generate a little bit more organic traffic to your website, depending on how you use your selling website and how important it is to your overall operation, and if you need or want that organic traffic. I will say it takes tons and tons and tons of work and time and thought and energy, but if you enjoy that kind of thing, there's certainly a benefit to that as well, as I can attest. And then contact page, it's pretty much what it sounds like. And also the property listings themselves. Let's go check out one of these things and we can take a look at how these look. They look pretty awesome. You can see where you can add these pictures here and scroll through the pictures. It just looks really sharp. This is like a step above what you normally see on most selling websites. You can scroll down and see all the normal stuff you would normally see. If you want to give people the option to purchase with seller financing, you can add that as well as a cash price, whichever one you want to advertise there. And you can explain how the process works. You can add whatever description you want. You can talk about all the basic details about the property right here. They've got these nice little icons, which just kind of make it easier and more fun, I think, just to look through the information. And you can add some information here about the general area. And we've got a little map here as well, which once you put the property coordinates in here, it will show you where in the world that property is. But let's get in here and see how we can edit some of this stuff. So let's go back here to the dashboard. So if we want to add a property or edit a property, we can click here on properties and we will see all the property listings that currently exist on the website. And some of these things may be hidden depending on the status that we set it to. Some of them may be like coming soon or maybe sold. You can label them however you want, which you can see right here under the status. You can see how they're displayed. So let's go ahead and click on edit. And just to be clear, the one that we're editing right now is this one right here. So this is the one that we are currently editing. And what we're seeing right here is the WordPress Block Editor, which just makes it a little bit easier to move things around. If we wanted to like change the price of this property, all we'd have to do is click on this right here and then go over to this section and say if we wanted to change it to $20,000, or if we wanted to change the down payment amount, we could change that here. Price of the note, we could change this to like $25,000. Say if we wanted to incentivize a person to pay with cash instead of doing seller financing, or vice versa, we could just use this to say, look, normally the price is $25,000, but if you pay with cash, you'll get it for 20 grand, that kind of thing. And we would obviously want to change these financing terms to actually make sense. I haven't done the math in my head yet, so this is not right, but you could easily change this stuff as well just by clicking on this and then go down here and change that stuff right here to whatever the monthly payment would need to be based on however many months. You get the idea. You really just go ahead and click on any of this stuff that you want to, and you can edit it however you see fit. You'll notice when we get down a little bit further, so once we get to this text, to edit this, you would actually edit it like right here instead of going over here to this section. So you just got to pay attention to where it's pointing you in terms of where and what you need to edit. And now we can go down here, click on this, and we can see now we have to edit it over here. You really just change things however you want to change them. And when it comes time to actually uploading the property images, which is arguably, one of the most important parts of a property listing, you can do that stuff right here. All we have to do is add to the gallery, click this button down here, and then take the images on your computer wherever they are and just drag them right onto this thing. Just like that. This is actually a picture of a storage facility, which has nothing to do with this, but just for the sake of showing you, where and how to get images onto your listings, that's how you do it. And then you click select, and now that image is right here, and you can move that wherever you want it to be. And if you want it to be the primary image, you would move it all the way over there to the left. So let's just quick update this thing and take a look at what the property listing looks like now. Click on preview and check this out again. So this is that image I just added. We can see that the price changed. And that's pretty much all I changed on this thing. But, as you saw earlier, it's really easy to, change whatever you want. If you wanted to go add a new listing, all you'd have to do is go back here, click on WordPress to go back to the main dashboard, and we can see all our properties here. So if we wanted to add a new one, we would just click on this, and now we have pretty much the same layout and everything, but it's just all blank. So you would just have to click wherever you want and add the information in here. Most people will create their listings in Pebble and then use that to copy it to places like Craigslist or Zillow. So wherever you have that information, whether you already created a listing elsewhere or you're creating it here, you'd really use a lot of the same stuff: pictures, descriptions, payments, prices, all that stuff. Now, if we want to go back here and change any of the information on the home page or that content locker or anything like that, I'm going to show you how we can do that as well. So property content lock. So that was that opt-in form that we saw at first when we landed on the page. So we can change what that thing says right here. And I honestly don't see anything wrong with what this says, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. And right here at the top, we can lock the entire site. So if somebody lands anywhere on the site, on any page, the home page, a listing, anything like that, this thing is going to show up. Or we could only lock the properties. So say if a person lands on the home page, it's not going to show up there, but once they try to get into a property itself, that's when it would show up. And you can also force visitors to opt in, which basically means there's no X button they can push to close that thing and get past it. They have to sign up or they can't see anything. You could force that, or you could leave this empty and just allow people to get past it. And you'll also notice this cookie length thing. The purpose of this is so that if a person comes back to your site repeatedly, again and again and again, they're not going to see that pop up every single time they do it. It's just going to be that first time, and it will track them for 14 days. Or if you wanted it to be longer, you could make it 30 days or however long you want. But that's the whole purpose behind that thing, is just so that it doesn't get crazy annoying to the person every single time they come back. Pretty straightforward. It's not too hard to do. Let's go ahead and save these changes. So that's a quick overview on that. And if you just didn't want this thing to show up at all, you could go over here to plugins and find the property content lock and just click deactivate. And then the thing is just not going to work at all. It'll never show for anybody. So that's totally up to you, however you want to handle that. Now, if we go back over here to pages, so this is where we can change what all of the main pages say. So for example, the home page, this is the main URL where everybody lands. And the way we can change this up is by clicking edit with Elementor. And it's going to open up this Elementor plugin, which is a pretty popular plugin that a lot of WordPress websites use these days. Just makes it a lot easier to move around and change things as you need to. So for example, when it says finding your perfect land is easy with REI Landlist. So my company name is not REI Landlist. My company name is Grand Land Company. So I'm going to change that right here. And it's as simple as that. And if I'm not selling land at this kind of discount, I could just remove this altogether, or I could change what this says, 20 to 50% below market value. I mean, whatever you want to do. And as we scroll down, so this stuff right here, the actual property listings, this is handled on the actual property listing pages individually that I just showed you. So if you want to change anything about this, this is not where you do it. You could change this up here. You could make this say whatever you want, just like that. And if you want to go down further here, if you wanted to change up how this is worded, you could do that here. You can see right over here where you can change that. This right here is where I would want to add some kind of an bio or story about myself. And this would probably be the same thing that ends up on the actual About Us page, which is right up here where it says About. So this would probably go there as well. And likewise, if I wanted to change this picture, I would do pretty much the same thing. I just would have gone back here and clicked on the About page instead of the home page. So I'll show you quick. If I go ahead and update this, it'll save whatever changes I made. And then we can go back here to exit, and we'll go to the WordPress dashboard. And if we go back here to pages, so if we wanted to edit the About page, we would click the About page. Here's that page. So if we wanted to change this picture, we could just click on the picture. We can just click this trash button and get rid of that thing altogether. I'm going to go grab a picture of myself, and we can click on this and click on Upload Files, and then drag a picture over here like this and click Insert Media. And there we go. Now we got that nice picture in there. And we could click on this and change the wording to say whatever we want it to be. I'm not going to do that right here for the sake of time, but you get the idea. It's pretty straightforward. And once you understand like how to get into each page and open up Elementor and how to click on stuff and edit stuff, it's really not hard at all. And this is the only stuff that Pebble can't set up for you because they don't know what's in your brain and specifically how your business works. So that's why you need to go through these steps and do this part. So when it does come to collecting email addresses, say if you do want to use that content lock opt-in form, in that case, you would want to make sure that whatever email service you're using, that it is integrated with the forms on the site. So like when a person fills out their name and email address and submits it, that actually goes somewhere and it gets added to a list so that it's really easy to communicate with those people in the future. So for example, MailChimp, MailerLite, Aweber, Constant Contact. These are all examples of these types of mail services that can collect and store these email addresses so that you can either send autoresponders or anytime you have a new deal and you want to notify everybody of that, it's just really simple to do it. I have experience with Constant Contact, Aweber, and MailChimp. I've not used MailerLite yet, although I hear this is a pretty popular option these days. Just from a cost perspective, it's pretty inexpensive to sign up for this one. But any of them can work, and REtipster actually does have affiliate links for each one of these. So I'll be sure to include those beneath this video as well. If you want to check out any of them and sign up and help support REtipster, it's totally up to you. But you would basically want to pick whichever one you want and then go back over here. And I believe Pebble is in the process of moving all their forms to like Pebble custom made forms. But there's also Ninja forms, which at the time of this recording, I believe that's what's being used on like this homepage. This is a Ninja form. So we could go ahead and click on Ninja forms. And then over here, we would click on apps and integrations. And when we scroll down, we can see a lot of different apps and integrations that can work with these forms. Most of these are not going to apply to us, but for example, if we were using MailChimp, we could learn more about how to connect MailChimp with these forms, or Aweber. That's right here. And there's a lot of other things you can do. I know like Zapier is a very, very popular thing that people use, and for good reason, because you can basically connect these forms to like thousands of other things on the internet, or you could get these names and emails automatically added to a Google Sheet or something like that. That's like a whole other subject. But just so you know, whichever email service you use, you can connect that to the forms on your website so that whoever does sign up, their name gets automatically added to your list. I think that's pretty much it. There's probably more questions that can come up, but Pebble has amazing customer service. Every time I send them an email, I hear back very quickly with some actual helpful information on how to move forward and get unstuck. And I honestly don't get stuck that often in the first place. So that's the overview of the Pebble selling website. If you want to check out how to build a buying website with Pebble, which honestly, I think a lot of people need a buying website even more than they need a selling website. Be sure to check that out too. I'll be sure to have a link to that beneath this video. And once again, if you do decide to use Pebble, it's definitely not the only option out there, but as you can see, it's a pretty solid option. Be sure to use the REtipster affiliate link. You can find that at retipster.com/Pebble. And I'll be sure to have that link beneath this video as well. Thanks again for watching, and wish you all the best with whichever website solution you decide to use. I'll talk to you again next time.